back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. It's Jared and Bob. It's been less than 10 minutes for us. It's been 4 days for you guys, right? 3 days, 4 days, however long. I don't know whether this is a Monday, Thursday episode or a Thursday, Monday. But either way, it's been a few days for you guys. A couple minutes over here in our world. So real quick, we just realized in between, we got some housekeeping. So we got some updates here on the 2022 celebrity death pool. We have 2 more swings and misses. Who are they?
Mike Bossy and Guy Lafleur.
Yep.
Like Guy, but
Guy,
whatever.
Yeah, Guy Lafleur.
The flower.
Yeah. So
yeah, 2 hockey guys. Missed on those.
Yep. Someone else just died.
I mean, people die every day, dude.
Well, yeah, no, that's like millions of people die every day, actually. But I feel like someone famous like just died.
I don't know. I just saw that like recently those 2 went. So yeah, let me throw it on the sheet so we can do our housekeeping of people we once again did not get right.
Yeah.
Although I think Bossy would have been a fucking chicken shit move because I think he was sick.
Oh, yeah.
Which is part of our code.
Yeah.
You can't pick people who are already sick.
Right.
Or I guess people who are terminally ill.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe nobody did die.
I don't know, dude. Again, no, there's definitely people who have. It's just we didn't have them.
Oh, well, I guess Gilbert Gottfried, but we talked about him. So, yeah, but that's that quick little update there on the celebrity death pool that we are striking out left and right here. So you have a story you want to kick us off with.
Yeah,
right?
I'll kick us off. So Willie Wilcox, great name, is
Phenomenal
a
name.
Professional golfer, PGA Tour, Corn Ferry. A lot of people remember because he aced 17 at Sawgrass one time. So, you know, he was never like a can't miss guy, whatever, but like good enough to play on tour, right? So in the last month, there's been an article that's come out and he's been doing like the podcast rounds, and he is now 6 weeks sober at age 30, 35.
Okay.
Something like that. He's probably like mid-30s. He's 6 weeks sober now. He used to start taking pills when he was 15. 15.
Did he say what kind?
Opiates.
Yeah.
Didn't matter which ones.
Yeah, probably Percocet, Oxys, whatever.
They were called birdie pills.
Yeah.
So you're a guy who plays golf, right?
Yep.
I'm a guy who plays golf. As you guys have heard, hung a huge number at Ferncroft. And I've been neurotic all week trying to figure my shit out there. And my handicap is as low as it's ever been. Imagine that. I shoot a 96 on Monday, and then by Wednesday, my handicap's the lowest it's ever been.
Good.
So whatever. It's fucking dumb. Golf's stupid. This guy was an insane drug addict and played professional golf, which is just even more of a slap in the face to everyone.
That's wild.
Like, this dude was the top. I don't even know, because they say scratch golfers are the top 1%. So it's like, what is a pro? Top
0.01%.
Yeah, like a hundredth.
Yeah.
Of a percent.
Yeah.
And he was fucked up all the time. Like, to the point that like he would get, he would pop a bunch of pills in the morning, drink a bunch of 24-ounce Bud Lights, and go play. Every winter, he would go to St. Croix, where he said it was almost impossible for him to get pills, whatever. He'd get clean, work out, go crazy, whatever, come out, guns blazing, playing super well, and then would just fall back into the same fucking habits over and over and over again.
Jeez.
And it's funny because Monday Q, Ryan French, the guy who tracks all the Monday qualifiers, he has a podcast. I think it's called The Grind now. It used to be called Any Given Monday. And he had Willie Wilcox on, and that was like the first like tell-all interview after Fire Pit did the feature on him. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I go, he has interviewed Willie Wilcox before. And I went back and listened to it in the fall of 2020. And I listened to what he said, and he was down in St. Croix. And no mention, nothing, like at all. And the only reason, like some of the things that got to him is like when he was younger, he goes, no, there were no withdrawals. He goes, whether this is true or not, he goes, your metabolism's so much higher, you just don't withdraw. Or he goes, it doesn't bother you as much.
Yeah. I mean, I can believe that, right? Because you think about when you're drinking, right? When you can drink a fuck ton when you're 20, 21, 19, 22, and like you might be a little bit tired the next day, but you're not like crushingly hungover.
Yeah.
And now at 30 plus, you drink half of what you drank at 21 and you can't get off the couch the next day.
Yeah.
So I believe that.
So he'd go his whole career. Like he would finish a tournament, get kind of fucked up, wean off it Tuesday, Wednesday, feel pretty shitty Thursday, and then you would just see his scoring subsequently get better, like through the weekend. Like, and it just blows my mind that this dude is that good. And for his entire career, high school, college, didn't matter. He was just banged up on painkillers the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's interesting. So if you want to learn more about like his story, so Fire Pit put out the article. The Grind has an interview with him. The Out of Nowhere podcast with Danny Woodhead and Matt Slauson has an interview with him. I want to say there was another podcast. I feel like he did like 3 or 4 of them. Sub 70's doing one with him like right now. So he's like really like he's making his rounds. Like if you want to hear the guy's story, it's pretty fucking nuts.
That's wild. That's kind of like along the lines of like a John Daly. I mean, I know Daly wasn't pills, but at least maybe not. I don't know for sure. But I mean, Daly was fucked up all the time when he was playing.
Yeah, he was just drinking though, so it's hard to know with him. Like, would he drink during the round, dude? Like, so you want to talk like, I mean, obviously an addict. So the only, I think it's the only year, one of the years he made the playoffs, because again, the guy was like marginal, like professional, but like marginal. He made the playoffs, made the first event, made the second event. No, made the first event. And was like 74th on the list. And this was back when you play Boston in the top 70, go to the next one. And he goes, all I have to do is just not go see my buddy. He goes, if I don't go see my buddy, I'll be in Boston. We'll be good. He went and saw his buddy, withdrew from Boston, didn't move on.
Yeah.
Now, part of that was also fear of drug tests because he knew he wouldn't pass.
Right.
Which is also interesting because for all the pills and all the other stuff, he got nailed for a fucking weed suspension to start his PGA Tour career. And when you get nailed like that, it's hard to make up because they have like reshuffling and status. And it's a fucking disaster. So it was like the worst thing that could have happened to him. He got nailed for weed. It's like, don't worry about the pills or anything. I mean, I know they get out of your system quicker, but
yeah,
it's gonna be the weed. It's like,
Yeah.
you're shitting me.
Yeah. Wasn't that kind of Chris Kirk's story?
Chris Kirk was a drunk.
Okay.
And like he attributed a lot to like being alone on the road and whatever. No, he was like a massive alcoholic. Billy Horschel's wife's a super alcoholic. I mean, dude, he's not the only drug addict in sports.
Well,
like,
yeah, no. Oh, Chris Herron, local guy.
Yeah, but it's just like funny, like thinking about it too, because it's like, how good do you have to be at golf where you can make it to the top on opiates all the time?
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, I played this morning with Vinny and like it was fine. Like I said, I sent it to you and Jones. Like I shot 90. So like that's pretty fucking good, right? That's one of the best rounds I've had in a while. But like I went through some trials and tribulations on my way to shoot 90. The front nine was absolutely disastrous. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. I think I shot 48, 42, which 48 isn't that bad, I don't think, or 49, 41, whatever it was again, a tale of two. Yeah, it was 48 and 42. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 pars on the back and I had 2 doubles and 2 triples on the front. Pretty sick, right? Sick. Yep. 2 doubles and 2 triples on the front and 4 pars on the back. So that's awesome.
There we go.
That's what you want.
I think that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I became a mental fucking midget today for like on holes 3 through 12, 13. I couldn't hit driver. Like I could anytime I tried to hit driver, it was just snap hook is being generous. Like it was bad. But then I started hitting it better after like the 12th to 13th hole, whatever one that was. But yeah, it was just one of those days. So I just think about like that, right? And then pop a couple fucking oxys before you do that. Yeah. I wouldn't get out of the golf cart.
I'm just thinking it would be the fucking cerebral palsy phase of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Like
no, not only that is he would be on a bunch of pills and then he would drink. Like that's what he would do to prepare for rounds.
Yeah. And it's like I typically don't drink when I golf. So sometimes I do, right? I would say 8 times out of 10, 8.5, let's call it times out of 10. I don't drink during the round. But like when I do, like if it gets a little out of hand, like if we're on guys weekend or it's the 4 of us and we're going somewhere or we're doing something and it's like, you have maybe 3, 4, 5 drinks and it's like, by the time you get to the 15th hole, it's like kind of drunk. And you're like, that usually doesn't go well. Like it usually goes terribly. Not. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I suck and I do that and things like the wheels fall off. You would imagine like someone that's good enough to be a professional do that. And like they would suck on like a professional level of sucking. Right. But apparently not. Some people, I don't know. Some people makes them feel better.
Yeah. Or some people are just fucking good.
Yeah. Some people are just really fucking good.
Like that's a decent example of when I say Jack Nicklaus could have smoked crack and probably still would have been one of the best ever.
Yeah.
So actually it'll be interesting to see though. So Will Wilcox retired last fall, and he's back to Monday qualifiers. So he's I mean, he was still fucked up as of when was 6 weeks ago? February?
February, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
March.
I think he OD'd in February, and
Jesus.
he's OD'd like 3 times. Like he's very, very casual about it. Very, very calm.
Yeah, casual OD. What are you doing this weekend? I don't know. I think I might OD.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that was like his fucking finding fucking Jesus moment. But yeah, he talked about it. He goes, I've spent like 20 years just like in this cycle.
Yeah.
He goes, it's gonna take me a long time to like not be in that cycle.
Yeah, I
I
can see that.
Because that's like a lot of living to do. That's like, because I'm just getting started, like living clean. Like,
yeah, since he was 14 years old.
The first pill he took was when he was like 15.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a birdie pill? Yeah, sure. I guess where he's from in Alabama is a mess.
Oh, well, hey, say no more.
Yeah. So Alabama. Yeah, I mean, but he's like, it was so easy for me to get all of this stuff. It was just in school. So easy.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah, I mean, he's gonna be doing his thing. I think he's playing the Monday qualifier tomorrow, or when this records, it'll be like a week ago. But yeah, or when this airs, it'll be a week ago. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. It's gonna be neat at fucking birdie fest. So
yeah,
as he's good, says he's playing well. His weight's back. He had a fucking last minute equipment change because he was playing like 120 gram stiff shafts. He couldn't fucking hit him anymore. So he's got like 130 X's right now. So,
hey, good for him. Hopefully he can figure it out and keep his shit together.
Yeah, that's the only thing you just hope for is like, do not go back to the pills. Like, dude, you can never play golf again and it'll be fine. He also has his own podcast, Tour Time. TURE. I think it's like a play on tour time, but TURE time.
Yeah. Probably some Alabama slang.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is like professional might be over. Like you might not play and you might not want to do it anymore because it's a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I just hope he doesn't go back to fucking pills.
Yeah, that never ends well.
No, because I mean, he'll die at this point.
Yeah, like, especially like as you get older, right? Like when you're in your 30s and 40s and you just fucking pound pills, like usually you end up dead, especially when you just OD'd 6 weeks ago.
Well, he went to a treatment center and he said it was the fucking worst. He goes, I never want to go through that again because the withdrawals are real when you're 35.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
I guess he's got a friend named Rodney. Is it Rodney? It might be Rodney. I don't know. I think it begins with an R. The guy, he goes, the guy's huge. He caddied for me. He goes, he carried the golf clubs like a fucking briefcase. Like, and it was him who just like, he like grabbed him by the fucking collar and was like, you got to fucking figure your shit out, man.
Like Michael Clark Douglas in fucking Green Mile, just a massive human being.
Yeah. So that might be his name. He's caddied for him before. So the guy's fucking huge, but if Rodney stays on him, then I guess we won't fucking look at him anything.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully Rodney pulls through.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. He's on Twitter. He's got his own podcast. Monday. All right. Monday Q Info. We'll be tracking the Monday qualifier stuff. So he'll be around.
All right. Well, that's good. Like I said, hopefully it works out for him. So on a different note, we covered this, I don't know when, but in a previous episode, we talked about the potential for the United States to move towards a 4-day work week, right? Remember we talked about that?
Yep.
Some other countries were doing it. Denmark, for some reason, sticks out.
Probably Sweden. Sweden was probably doing it because we got to be more like Sweden.
Yeah. Yeah. They plow their sidewalks better.
Yep.
So it was like this whole thing. And so the state of California was like, oh, we're going to switch to a 4-day work week, right? So I think Microsoft already does it. Shout out to Bill Gates.
Bill Gates good, dude.
Yeah, Bill Gates good from our last episode that was 20 minutes ago for us and 4 days ago for you guys. But it's still fresh on my mind. And I think one other company does it. So someone in California was like, all right, let's do it. We're going to pass legislation. And as a whole state, we're going to mandate 4-day work, 32 hours is full time. That's when you qualify for benefits. It's no longer 40 or 37 and a half. I think every state might be different, but I think it's 37 and a half most places. So like whatever that 37 and a half or 40 hours, no more, we're switching to 32 hours. That's it. So they try and propose it and it literally got shot down immediately. Like everyone was like, no, we're not doing that. Even in the state of California, like arguably the most liberal fucking state in the country. People wise, at least policy wise, I'd say it's probably Oregon. Because they fucking basically legalized all drugs.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, they decriminalized everything. They have fucking, what was that called? The CHOP or the Chaz? There was like no government. It was like an anarchist thing.
Oh, in Portland?
Yeah, in Portland.
Yeah.
It was like a whole thing, whatever. Like the whole state of Oregon can get fucked. Was it the southeastern corner of Oregon wanted to leave and go become fucking Idaho. It's a disaster. Yeah. So maybe Oregon is the most liberal state, but like California has more people and like either way, they're like, let's go to a 4-day work week. And they immediately were like, no. And then people started pushing for it, whatever. And then it just came out recently that they were like, yeah, we're just going to scrap this altogether. Because I guess they put something together. It might have passed in the House and went to the Senate and got shot down. And then instead of like trying to like rekindle it and do whatever, they were just like, yeah, we're just going to let it die. So they didn't even really fight for it. They didn't want it. And do you know what they said? Do you know what the California state legislation said?
Lay it on me.
They go, it's best to leave it up to individual countries. It's best to leave it up to individual companies to determine what they want to do. It's not up to, it's like no place of the state government to determine hours or something along those lines, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they said. And it's like,
you fucking dickheads.
I don't understand you guys. Like, that's a very libertarian idea, right? Like that's small government, right? Like the government shouldn't tell you, what hours should constitute full-time coverage or work coverage or whatever. It should be up to the individual corporations or companies. It's like, that's your response from the state government of California. It's not Kansas. It's not Arkansas or Texas. It's California. It's like, fuck you guys. You guys suck.
Well, you know what happens immediately if the California government enacts that? Every public employee in California now has to work 1 day less.
Right. So
what are they going to do about that? Hire more or just do straight up less work?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to figure that out. That's how that worked.
Yeah. Because I think we talked about that when we originally talked about this before in Denmark or wherever it was, that like, how does that work from a company perspective, right? Like if your salary's not going to stay the same. Like if I work 40 hours a week, right? And let's just use round numbers here. This isn't me, clearly. Let's just say someone. So if someone works 40 hours a week and they make $100,000 a year, and now you're working 32 hours a week, you can't expect to still make $100,000 a year, right? That's 1/5, right? 8 out of 40 is 1/5. So you would make $80,000 a year. If you work 32 hours a week at $100,000 a year, I'm sorry, if you work full-time now at $100,000 and you switch to this new thing of working 32-hour weeks, you should expect to make $80,000 a year. right?
Yeah, but
Like why
people won't expect that. They'll think, no, I make the same. I make my salary.
right. And they would have at least an argument there, but from a business standpoint, like the way the world works, right? Like money, not to get like so like fucking existential here, but money represents time, really, right? Like you work your job, like you work, you do something, and as a trade for the time that you give to work, they present you with money. So money technically is a representation of time. So if you're going to spend less time, you're going to get less money.
That will happen from employers. I could also argue that time isn't as important as performance is. So,
right,
like the easiest example is someone who's in sales. If they work 40 hours and they make X amount of sales, that nets them, or I'm sorry, grosses them 100,000 a year. Or if now they're down to 32, but they still have the same amount of productivity because they're in sales, they can still gross 100,000. And most employers don't give a shit as long as numbers get met, whatever. So it all depends on what your performance is tied to. Like if you have a job and you don't know like what metrics you're supposed to meet,
yeah,
good fucking luck. Like that, you should know that. And it's like,
right,
because especially when it's like, how are you going to be evaluated on your job? Like if they start cutting people, like this is in general, this isn't even if they cut hours. Like, how do you know if you're on the chopping block if you don't know how you're evaluated and measured?
right.
Which a lot of people work in corporate don't. They just go, oh, I just go and I do what I'm told. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. Is that what they expect, or do they expect more from you?
Right. Like, do you ever have like an annual review?
Even if you
like,
don't, though, this is so. Give you an example. So one guy that I got, he has been late, or he's been with companies twice that have done layoffs, and he was working remote for both of those companies and was laid off both times.
Jeez.
So although he was meeting expectations, the way that you get measured, evaluated, whatever, was going to be directly tied to being in the building. So it's like a lot of people don't think about this shit when they're employed by more faceless organizations. It's like if one thing fucking goes wrong, like, and you don't have a fucking pot to piss in, you're fucking out. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter that no one told you this, no one told you that. It's like, I showed up for work every day. I did this. Like, how are you fucking measured? How are you fucking evaluated? And it's like, if you don't do that shit,
right,
and you don't know that, like I could ask people right now, like, how are you evaluated for your job? How are you measured at work? Like, how do you
right,
know that you're doing a good job?
right.
And people won't know. And mine's easy because it's just the bank accounts, but
Yeah.
like people don't know that. Now, again, you have to be a little bit of a bigger corporation for this to be an issue. But yeah, even with that, it's like, I know this was about like the work week. It's like, be prepared. Like if that ever does come, like if be prepared, they're gonna take back from you. Like whether you so like if they roll out, it's like, oh, we're gonna start rolling out a 4-day work week. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you can opt into it. It's like, oh, is there a pay cut? It's like, oh well, it's 80% of the work, but we'll just cut pay like 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when it's time to like promote people or move on or like this, that, well, opportunity, it's like the people that they see more are going to be the ones that they fucking go for. So it's like,
Yeah.
people are so fucking afraid to work these days now. And it's like, everyone wants to work remote and everyone's more productive at home. And like, I fucking heard it all. You're more flexible at home. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're not more productive. Because if you're more productive at home, why were you so unproductive in the office? Like,
Right.
why did you suck so bad at your job before?
Yeah.
No, like dead serious.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
because I'm fucking, I hate this shit where people are like, oh, I'm so much more productive at home. I'm like, then why were you such a bad employee before? Well, I wasn't a bad employee. Then why the fuck didn't you do your work
Yeah.
before? What the
Right.
fuck was so different before?
Right.
No, you're more flexible now. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You can run to the grocery store in the middle of, well, maybe not the grocery store, but like you can run to Target or like CVS or something. Like you can make a
Yeah.
quick trip if you're back within a half hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
Like,
if
you can
don't,
leave your house and come back within a half hour and like no one really knows.
yeah.
The
Or
difference.
if you don't have to like attend a time sensitive anything, appointment, meeting, whatever, and you want to do 5 fucking hours in the morning from 6 a.m. to 11, and then you want to do from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sometimes they allow that because they just look at your online time as 8 hours and all your
Right.
production is done, then you're good.
Right.
And you're
Or
more
they
flexible.
look at it like just get your work done. And as
Yeah.
long like you could work from 6 a.m. to noon every single day, but like as long as you get all your work done, or 5 a.m. to noon every day, you know what I mean? And as long as you're getting all of your work done, they don't give a fuck. Like they just want the work to get done. They don't care when it, like they don't care what time of day it gets done, as long as it gets done before the deadline.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I don't think people need a fucking 4-day work week.
No. Because then I saw this other thing. Some people were talking about switching to a 4-day work week, but then working 10-hour days.
So it's the same.
It's the same amount of work time, theoretically.
I'm like potentially okay with that because,
Yeah.
like, frankly, most people phone it in on fucking Friday anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Fridays are a joke.
Yeah.
So it's like if Fridays are going to be a joke, then fucking bag them. But I don't know.
Well, because then you run into, I mean, that would be fine, right? Like if you wanted to switch your company to a 4-day work week, but have your employees work 4 10-hour days instead of 5 8-hour days, and that's how you justify paying them the same amount of money, sure, yeah, go for it. But everyone that works any type of like office job knows that when you work an 8-hour day, I'm using quotes if you're not watching on YouTube here, some air quotes, you're not working for 8 hours. Like nobody that works an 8-hour day works for 8 hours straight.
Yeah,
like
it's Peter from Office Space. In a given week, probably 15 minutes of real actual work.
Yeah. So it's like, you have to factor in some downtime, some procrastination time. Like it's really what happens in an office. So if you're now making each day 2 hours longer, is that 2 hours longer that you're making a day going to be filled with productive work, or is it going to be filled with bullshit work or bullshit time fill? You know what I mean? Because I would say you're more likely that adding 2 hours in a day is going to just add 2 hours of bullshit time.
So I would get fired as CEO of this company. I would actually argue that we should cut 2 hours off the day and still expect the same amount of productivity and now see some motherfuckers work.
Yeah.
I'll pay you the same.
Yep.
But you only have 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like eat lunch on the fly.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I need a lunch break. All right, well, then you work 8 hours. Then that's fine. You work 8.
Right.
Everyone else can work 6. You can work 8.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to work 8. All right, well, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
So 6-hour days, that would be my corporation. You need to be as productive as you were in 8, and you got to do it in 6.
Dude, honestly.
And you can pick your hours. You want to start at 6 because you want to get in way before traffic and leave at noon. Cool. Yeah. You're fucking lazy ass. You want to come in at 3 and work till 9. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, I think initially, if a company did that, it would be met with like a lot of backlash, right? They'd be like, you can't expect that, whatever. But like, if you stopped and thought about it, in an
So doable.
in an 8-hour day, how much productive work actually gets done?
I don't know.
I
Dude.
would say
Like, I don't work
anywhere
like that.
anywhere between, depending on the day, some days you might only be 2 hours, but I would say on average across the board, across all jobs, right, that are office based, I would say in an 8-hour shift, you're probably on average have productive work anywhere between 4 to 6 hours, right?
That seems like 4 seems right. 6 seems like a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm also thinking too, like you do have people that are like accountants, right? That like,
Oh yeah.
so I'm
Work,
saying on
like
average across all things.
They
So like
legit
an
just do
accountant,
math for fucking 12 hours a day.
yeah, I was gonna say accountants work productively for 15 hours a day. Like they skew, things get skewed both ways. When I was working at Compass, I worked productively for about 2 hours a day. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like the average falls somewhere between 4 and 6. So call it 5, right? There we go. On the average 8-hour workday, there's probably on average about 5 hours of productive work that actually gets done. So
There's
if
someone
you
listening to
shorten
that's
the
like,
day,
no, not me. I'm different. I'm better.
yeah.
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
8 hours of productive work every day.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Cool. So you never go on Twitter, you never go on Instagram,
Nope,
no
I
Facebook.
bet you do.
Yeah. No Amazon, nothing.
Yeah, don't drink coffee.
Yeah. Don't get up to go to the bathroom.
You piss in a jar at your desk.
You insert a catheter every day when you sit at your desk.
Yeah.
You don't talk to anybody in the office.
No one even knows I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm just so productive.
Yep. From punch in to punch out, just straight production. So if you figure, right, that in an average 8-hour day, you get about 5 hours of productive work. If you cut the day to 6 hours, that still allows for 1 hour of like non-productive work in a day. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, I know you said it like kind of in jest, but like,
it's not a bad idea.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
It's not.
Especially if you go in with the premise, like, I will pay you the exact same, but your production has to stay the same.
Yep.
Dude, I think that's a pretty good idea. Like, I would
could be
definitely
the CEO of a company.
Yeah. And depending on what the business is, the flexible time thing is perfect too. But like, it depends on the business. It also depends on the department, right? Like if you're a customer service representative, you can't work from 6 a.m. to noon. You just can't.
Unless you have
right.
shift people,
if you turn it into a shift job and it's overlapping time, then yes, you can. But
yeah, I mean, listen, you don't get to pick like, oh, I'm going to work 1:30 to 7. No.
Right.
6 to 12, 12 to 6, 3 to 9. We're open from 6 to 9.
Yeah.
You pick.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Whatever's in the middle.
Yeah.
Like stop and shop. It's like a stop and shop schedule.
Actually, kind of, right?
Yeah, because we used to have behind the desk, it would be 8 to 1. It would be 8 to 1, 10 to 3. 1 to 6, and 3 to close.
Yeah, that's what we did.
So it always staggered, except the beginning 2 hours and the end 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what we did at the liquor store too. For the part-timers, it was almost exactly the same. I think it was 8 to 1, 10 to 3, and then 3 to either 10 or 11. So 3 to close, depending on what day of the week it was. And then sometimes, depending on the day, and like if it was like a holiday, like we might toss in like a 12 to 6 or like a 2 to 9 or something. Like we would throw in some weird shifts, like, you know, if we were coming up on like the 4th of July or something, or we would have like multiple people on shift. So I mean, it sounds like those are standard shifts, you know, 8 to 1, 10 to 3, 3 to close. Seems like it makes sense.
Yeah. So if you want me to be the CEO of your company, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're already the CEO of one company, right? Well, are you can you be co-CEOs?
I'm fucking CEO of that place. If we're dishing out titles, I am absolutely the CEO of that place.
What would Chris be?
I don't know. What are all the different C's?
There's COO,
What's that?
Chief Operations Officer or Officer of Operations, however
He
the
could
fuck you want to order
be.
it.
He could definitely be COO. That seems to work.
Because I was going to say, he's certainly not CFO.
No.
That would also be you.
Yeah. He does. You know what, though? We do split that role.
Okay. I just imagine him with numbers is like fucking caveman.
No, so so I deal with like when it comes to like the finances, he deals with the current stuff and I deal with the accounting and the bookkeeping stuff.
Okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, we split that.
There's CMO, Chief Marketing Officer.
We don't do marketing in the traditional sense.
Yeah. CTO, the technical officer.
That's me.
Yeah.
Just because I know how to use Google Drive, that makes that me.
Yeah. Hey, how do you use this printer? I don't know, Chris. It's the same fucking printer we've had for 12 years.
That came up the other day. He goes, why won't this print? I go, before we start, do you have it set to the printer?
I don't know. Did you blow on it?
It wasn't set to the printer. Well, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to do anything. How long were you going to sit there and not print that for?
Yep. All right. So you're definitely the CTO. I can't think of any other ones. I think that's it.
I mean, if there was like a relationship manager type thing.
Yeah. The executive president or executive president of customer experience. Yeah, that's like, dude, you want to talk like, this is the funny thing of like being kind of in the corporate world now. Like our clients are in the corporate world in my new job. Like some of the titles of these people is like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? What do you do? Who cares?
Have you met a director of first impressions yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But like, there's literally like people that are like the executive vice president of customer experience or something like that. And it's like, okay, so you run the HR department or you run like whatever, customer service. But like, there's so many different parts to that title that are just hilarious to me. The executive vice president. So like,
is there a non-executive vice president?
Yeah. Like you have to make yourself feel better for being a vice president versus a president.
So is there an executive president or is it just president?
No, it's just probably just the president.
So it's just the president. And then right below him is the executive vice.
Yeah.
And then below him is just the vice president.
Yeah. So you have 3 levels of, I would call middle to upper middle management of like, what the fuck do you say that you do here? If you have
handle the goddamn customers,
you have a president of, now to be fair, the president on that level might be responsible for a couple different levels. So like, it might be like the president of customer relations, right? Who has the executive vice president of customer experience, the executive vice president of external affairs, the executive vice president, you know what I mean? Like there might be like 2 or 3 executive vice presidents under the president of whatever, but like still, dude, like what the fuck? What are we doing? What, like, why? You just have to make more fucking titles for yourself. Like you just have to make more names up. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm the executive vice president of fucking custodial services. You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool. So it's like what is it? It's like in Captain America Civil War when Spider-Man pops in. He's like, oh, we're using our fake names. Okay. Well, I'm Spider-Man. It's like, oh, so we're using our fake titles. All right. I'm the executive vice president of custodial services. Like, come on, dude. Or like, what is it? There were on my at Compass, there was a guy, he got his title changed to, I mean, he was a nice guy, but he got his title changed to director of like development and impact, or director of impact and development. And it's like, what does that even mean?
Nothing.
Director of impact and development. Like, he was the marketing manager, right? Like his original title, whatever he got hired for, whatever, was like marketing manager. And he got a title change to director of impact and development. Like I said, he was a nice guy, but like, what does that mean? I don't know. So people get so fucking uptight about like titles and like what they're like, oh no, I'm the, I'm not the administrative assistant. I'm the director of record keeping. It's like, you just want the word director in your title. Like, you're a cunt. What it boils down to.
Director of sitting on cucumbers.
Yeah. No, I'm the director of records and record keeping. Fuck off, dude.
Archival affairs.
Yeah, archival affairs. I'm the executive vice president of archival affairs. Right? Because that's what it is, right? When it boils down to, is people want like long titles because it makes them sound important. It's like, you're not.
People are fucking clowns.
You're not. You're an idiot. You're just an asshole, actually. Like, if someone ever came to me and said that, I'd be like, oh, so you're an asshole.
And usually too, it's like, oh, what do you do for work? They'll tell you their title if it's bullshit. Whereas sometimes like, oh yeah, no, I'm in sales.
Yeah. Or like, again, when I was at Compass, I would be like, oh, like people were like, oh, what do you do? And I go, I run the outdoor education department. And like, that was it. Like, my title was like outdoor education coordinator. I'm like, okay, like, someone's like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm an outdoor education coordinator. No, it's a lot easier to be like, oh, I run the outdoor ed department. Or like now it's easy because they're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, a project manager. Describing what we actually do is a little bit more difficult when people are like, so like, what does your job do? I'm like, well, we do like change management. Like, we help people like plan moves and location changes and stuff. I don't know. It's like, because it's hard to describe. Like, I know what we do, but like, it's difficult to explain it to other people, because you see like their eyes just kind of gloss over and they're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
If you can't explain it, does it actually exist?
Probably not, I would say.
Didn't think so.
Yeah. Well, you know who else can't explain things is number 46, Joe Biden. He made a slip up not too long ago. He was talking about, I actually retweeted this, or I quote tweeted it technically. It was a video clip that someone posted of him giving a speech that was him saying, at one point he was the poorest person in Congress or whatever. And he's like rambling on about being poor. And then there's a quick clip right at the end, or a quick segment right at the end of the clip where he starts to trail off and do his whole like dementia thing. And then he goes, well, I thought that, or I always used to think that, you shouldn't get paid to be in Congress anyway. And then like the video, like the clip ends. And all of Twitter was just being like, calling him out for like the lie, right? Be like, he was never the poorest. If he's so poor, why was he worth like a million, 1.5 million in like 1970 something, like whatever it was. Like they were ripping him for that. And when I quote tweeted it, I was like, I think people are focusing on the wrong part of this video. Like, I don't really give a shit that he lied about being the poorest person in Congress. But like the last thing he said before the end of the video was that he believes that people shouldn't be paid to be in Congress. Like, how are we not taking this and running with it? And
it doesn't fit.
Yeah, but like that's what people need to be like, oh, hey, we need to push for this. We need to make Congress part-time again. Or like reduce their salary. Like you should be a public servant. Like you shouldn't go in as, a Nancy Pelosi or a Dan Crenshaw, two pieces of shit. You shouldn't go in with a $150,000 a year salary. And then when you get out of or like technically, I guess Nancy Pelosi never got out of Congress, but fast forward 40 plus years later, you made $100,000, $150,000 a year. How are you now worth like $20 million?
Inflation, dude.
Like that just doesn't add up, right? So
you're not asking the right questions.
Yeah. It's not the insider trading or anything. It's fucking
dude. Biden wasn't the poorest when he said that. Like, yeah, that's not the point. Yeah, but he wasn't the poorest.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no. We should probably reduce their salaries, right? You should be a public servant, which means you're a servant to the public, which means that when we vote for your dumbass, you do what we say, not the other way around.
No.
No.
Just no.
Just no.
Yeah. No counterpoint. Just no.
Nope.
You just don't get it, man.
I don't. Actually.
You should understand politics the way I do.
Someday, maybe.
We can only hope, right?
All right. Should we wrap this up? It's about that time.
Yeah. Let me pull up the article that I need.
Yes.
Because it pertains to Encore.
Aha.
So there was a woman from Quincy that was arrested basically for loan sharking. There's another name they use for it. So it's some 50-year-old Asian lady. And basically what she would do is she would go around at Encore, and if someone was kind of like losing, she would pull out cash and be like, all right, do you need a loan? Like, I'll stake you some money, blah, 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 like whatever. And the reason she got in charge, or the reason it's called usury, 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 is because her interest rates were higher than the legal limit. So yeah, so what she would do, or also, yeah, okay, same as loan shark, it's the same thing. So she would do 5% daily, 10% a week, which is well above 20% annually. And she would also do this primarily with other Asian players and at the high limit tables. So I just think that's pretty funny. So obviously something happens regarding Encore. What's my first move?
We got to ask Nikos.
Ask Nikos. So I hear about this. I go, Nikos, do you know about the woman who got arrested? He goes, no, but I definitely know about some Asian lady that used to like float around, like doing her thing. I go, yeah, dude, that's who this is.
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be it. And he turns around and goes, actually, it's funny. He goes, you know who this is. He goes, it's the woman that yelled at Finn at Foxwoods one time. The only problem is she didn't yell at Finn. She yelled at me. So we were playing blackjack. Dude, I think I was like 22. So it was like it was my first time at Foxwoods, first time playing like real tables. Like one time we played at the poker room up in New Hampshire. Like, dude, I really don't know what we're doing. It's like a fucking Wednesday at 1:00, and like there's not much open, so it's like whatever. So we sit down, and I don't know the basic strategy very well, and I know it way better now, but I didn't know it well then. So I made a mistake. I probably hit on 16, looking at a 3 or something. Like where like the ones where it gets weird with the basic strategy, because it's like I'm looking at it like, well, I have 16. 16 is kind of a shit number, but I'm looking at a 3. Like they could easily get 21. Like not mathematically, but yeah, it could easily happen, like where they're still alive. So I think I hit. And so she was unhappy about that because it's the whole thing, like unwritten rules, whatever. I took her card, whatever. I don't know. So she doesn't like that. And she's like still yelling. And I genuinely don't know what she's saying. Like I really cannot make out what she's saying. So I get another hand at some point. I look at it. I go, what do you want me to do? She goes, hit. Fine. Hit. All 4 of us lost at the table. And I look back at her and go, so how did that work out for you? Because I'm pissed because she won't stop yelling.
Yeah. And
then the next hand that comes out, again, it's like, dude, I was getting like all these shit hands, like shit hands. So I think I had a 13 looking at a 6. I just look her dead in the eyes. I go, hit. And she fucking freaks out. So I think I busted out at that point. It was like the last hand. I go, I don't know what you want me to do here. I go, I don't know the rules. Or I go, I don't know what you're saying. I go, I lost with my way. I lost with your way. And then I lost intentionally messing with you. So I don't know what you want me to do. Because either way, I'm going to lose. Like, I'm going to lose. So like, I don't think I really care what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's the woman that got nailed at fucking Encore like 11 years later.
Wow. Sounds like she did pretty well at the blackjack tables.
She must have been doing something. Well, no, she doesn't. See, you don't make the money loan sharking. You make the money, or I'm sorry, you don't make the money playing. You make the money the loan sharking.
Right. But you just said you have to have the money to loan.
Well, yeah, you get it. You start it out. Start small. Build up a bankroll.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you $100, but you're gonna owe me 120.
Yeah, 5%.
Yeah. So not bad, I guess.
Yeah. I just thought it was even. So not only did someone tell me about it, I immediately go to Nico's. Nico's knows who it is. And then it was that same fucking lady that I was fucking yelling at the blackjack table in Foxwoods.
Well, I mean, of course, Nico's knew exactly who it was too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There was no other. It was some lady getting arrested for loan sharking at Encore. There is no detail about that Nico's wouldn't know the person.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So with my final thought, I was gonna go with like a political one, but I changed my mind. We did enough politics with this stupid Biden thing. All it was about Bernie. Cliff notes: Bernie Sanders might run again in 2024. That's all I was gonna basically get to.
Well, who gives a fuck?
So my actual final thought now is, this is another callback. This has been a whole night of callbacks. I think we did a couple in the last episode, and then now in this episode. Previously, we talked about those. Was it like MIT or like something? Like robot pizzas. Remember we talked about that? It was like AI was going to start making pizzas, like robots were going to do it, and it was going to be like whatever.
I don't know. I remember like the fake manufactured steaks. Is that the same thing?
No, it was like a mobile pizza company that was like robots.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah, it was all automated. So
I thought you meant the pizza was fake, not the.
Oh, no. Like it was just made by robots and AI. So there is a pizza company, I believe, called 800 Degrees, has technology from kitchen robotics. From a kitchen robotics company called Piestro. So the pizza company is called 800 Degrees. They're partnering with a kitchen robotics company called Piestro to try and increase their restaurant profit margins. The two brands recently announced a partnership called 800 Degrees to Go. Hey, real fucking genius marketing. Who's the CMO over there? They should be fucking fired.
I'd fire him if I was the CEO.
Yeah. So they use automated ghost kitchens to make artisanal made-to-order pizza. And so the use of robotics cut the pizzeria's labor costs and increased profit margins from 22% to 45%. And 800 Degrees to Go is now accepting investors through a crowdfunding platform. So you have this company, 800 Degrees, which is a pizza company. They just partnered with a robotics company to essentially fire their employees and use robots to make their pizzas instead. I can guarantee you the pizza's going to suck. Right? Like I think we talked about this before. Like, there is no way. I refuse to believe that a robot can make a pizza in the same way that a human can. It just can't be done. Right? Like, there's just, I don't know. You want to call it made with love or whatever the fuck you want to say.
How about made with skill? How about let's use like an actual thing?
Yeah.
Where it's like someone who's good at making a pizza is going to be good at making a pizza, and a robot's a fucking robot.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this is basically just a way for them to try and increase their profit margins in making ghost kitchens, which is this new thing that restaurants are trying to do. So do you know what a ghost kitchen is? Have you heard that before?
No.
Chipotle does this now. So a ghost kitchen is a restaurant that you can't actually go to. So it has employees that makes things, but they're essentially only to go, right? So kind of in a way like a Domino's, like every single Domino's that I think I've been into, they don't have seats, right? Like you can't sit down and eat at a Domino's, but you also get to go in. So it's not quite the same. A ghost kitchen is like customers don't go inside. The only people that go inside are employees. So like I said, Chipotle has been doing this for like a couple of years now, I think. They have locations where they have people inside making burritos and bowls and all that shit. And then like delivery drivers just come pick it up and deliver the food. Like customers don't go inside. So now that's what this company is going to do, this 800 Degrees. So I don't know. I think it's dumb. Like I said, it's to piggyback off of a previous conversation we had on the podcast. I think there is room for AI in the world, right? Like we already see it in grocery stores. Like eventually cashiers probably aren't going to exist anymore. It's all going to be self-checkout. We're already looking at self-driving cars and trucks. So like truck drivers are going to be phased out. Like now you're going to get rid of fucking chefs, right? Like you're going to get rid of cooks and chefs and all that shit. Like, I don't know. That's a little much for me. Cause I also think the food's not going to be that good. Like I said, I refuse to believe a robot can make food in the same way that a human being can.
Nope. Definitely not pizza specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. So fuck that. Fuck all of them. They suck. So thank you though. You guys don't suck. Although some of you might, if you listen to this show, there's a solid chance.
I suck.
Yeah. I mean, we suck. So there's a solid chance that you suck because you like us. But thank you guys for watching. Again, like, rate, review, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Wherever you're listening, spread the word, tell everybody you know. You can, what doesn't suck actually when it comes to food is grill your ass off. So you go to grillyourassoff.com, use the promo code SarcasmPod for 15% off every single time you check out. They get everything you need. Seasonings, their hot sauce is amazing. It's brand new. They've got barbecue sauce, pickles, olives. They have these habanero stuffed olives that I think I might buy. They're called donkey balls, which I think is hilarious. They get everything over there. So go to grillyourassoff.com, use the promo code SarcasmPod, 15% off every single time you check out. Also, thank you to mybookie.com. Same promo code SarcasmPod. We'll double your first deposit up to $1,000 over there. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks, Facebook, Sarcasm Speaks, website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch, tell everybody you know about the show. And until next time, good night.